Hello, you all. It has requested the Avatar, the master of all four elements: power, head voice, melisma, and tone. Let's get right into it. All the man that I need, Arsenio Hall. Come on. You better sing. Just started, I'm done.
I used to cry myself to sleep at night, but that was all before he came.
So
I
beautiful.
thought love had to hurt to turn out right, but now he's here.
Mm.
It's not the same. It's not the same. Oh, he
Say,
gives me up. He gives me love. More love than I've ever seen. And he's all I got. He's all I got in this world. But he's all
come on, Whit. She is so bad.
And in the morning, when I kiss his eyes, he takes me down and rocks me slow. And in the evening, when the moon is high, he holds me close and won't let go. He
Sing,
won't let
Melisma.
go. He fills me up.
Come on.
He gives me love. He gives me more love.
She is as fine as her voice. Transition. And play. Come on. Goodness. Did you hear the power in that head voice there? That was incredible. Mm. You see, first of all, I want to start off with the power and the authority in which she hit that one head voice note towards the end. Um, that was incredible. I want to go back and find that and listen to that again. Honestly, I'll do it. Sorry if I mess up. I just want to the sheer how she ended that right there. The sheer savagery in which she absolutely executed that note in that head voice. I don't ever remember her being that powerful in her head voice, hitting a note like that. Or honestly, anyone outside of opera, anyone in pop, I don't remember anybody who's hit a more powerful head voice note than that right there. I know that's a bold statement, but and I've listened to a lot of people y'all know on this channel, like I think 900 and something, and I mostly react to amazing singers. So that's saying something right there. But as far as that voice, that's astonishing to me. But I move on from it, and then the melisma after. You go from that power and the way she reeled in the volume control there, and then came back and with that melisma, found her way back out of that melisma. That was just masterfully done right there. That was absolutely masterfully done. That whole run, the volume control, and the sheer power and strength of that head voice. How she just hit it like a truck. Phenomenal there. And then just her stamina throughout this entire performance. The amount of transit, especially it was a lot of transitions during the beginning, just back to back transitioning here, and sort of the speech level singing, and then you have her just jumping into the that's transitioning there honestly, and then you have her jumping, hitting these massive higher chest belts out of the blue. Then she puts a run here, the way she places things, and the speed at which she goes from one ad lib to the next, and the fact that she never loses the plot, so to speak. Some people get lost in their runs. It becomes a mess. And then a lot of times people lose the key when they do this much. But she just sticks to the key throughout. She never gets lost in her own ability, which is amazing because she's doing a lot here at one time. As I said, head voice, the transitions, the high chest belts out of nowhere, and then she's sticking to the original, the lyrics, and then she's doing a lot. And David Foster said something about her that I loved. He said he would do a note on the piano. I believe he said he would do a note on the piano, and he'd ask the person to do something with it. And then one type of person would do some crazy runs and things that didn't mean anything to him, basically. Then another person would give him exactly what he wanted. Then he said Whitney would give him something different that he didn't think of. And then he thought about it. He said he loved it. So that says a lot coming from him. He's quite proud, but he's a genius himself. So that's saying a lot, and I agree with that. Her artistry is really in her ear, and her placement of her ad libs and the run she chooses and the head voice, and just what needs to be built here, what needs to be head voice, what kind of run needs to go here. You know what I mean? What would sound better with this sort of smooth tone here. She has an amazing ear and an amazing placement for her ad libs. Now, then again, her agility is something that's absolutely incredible for someone like her with such a powerful, big voice, with such a darker, fuller voice. She is very much a prodigy. I think of people who have very similar vocal types, like a CeCe Winans, for example, or a Glennis Grace. They have very similar sort of darker tones, even though hers might be darker than both of theirs, which is even more impressive. She still has more agility. She's still she's faster. She's very much more consistent with her runs. Even though they're great, that's one thing I noticed, the difference between them two. Whitney has sort of, when Glennis is singing her songs, I noticed one thing that's not quite as sharp is the runs. Whitney's run, Glennis had certain runs Glennis has trouble with, and with CeCe, I noticed especially late 90s, early 90s, late 80s. With CeCe, I noticed when they sung their songs, Whitney was just a lot easier, a lot less trouble in the high chest belt range. So you know what I mean. So easier in her prime, higher chest than like a CeCe Winans, and more agile than sort of a Glennis Grace. And but she's just as good as all the other vocal attributes as well. So that's the difference I noticed between her and people of like sort of vocal types. You know what I mean? She's very much a prodigy, and just she can be as beautiful and caressing as velvet, but as powerful as a locomotive. as agile as the Flash. You know what I mean? And just is her range is incredible. And one thing I also know is when people cover When You Believe, which is my favorite song, by the way, of all time. When You Believe, um, people say that Whitney's stronger. Her bottoms, her lows aren't as good as others of her vocal types. But I notice when people cover When You Believe, that last run that Whitney does at the end, she runs all the way down. I notice people who supposedly who were better at the bottom notes, they don't seem to really try that. They don't really. I wonder why they don't try that run that she does at the end of When You Believe. You know, that low note. But that's something I think about all the time. Like, people really dodge that part. Nonetheless, absolutely incredible tone, agility, head voice power, chest range. I mean, just she's Avatar. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Please continue to support your favorites.